Hello viewers, so welcome once again back to my YouTube channel. Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you something you need to know about how C++ works. Okay, so without wasting my time, let's just begin. But before then, if you are new to this channel, please do me a favor by subscribing, hit the like icon, share for others to see, leave a comment in the comment section, and don't forget to turn on the notification so that anytime I release a new video you wouldn't miss it. Okay, so we are going a quick how C++ works. Okay, so we got a couple of things to know before, like a couple of things to be familiar with. So we have toolsets, we have compiler, we have achiever librarian, we have linker, executable, dynamic library IDE. There are some other stuff too. Okay, so toolset is simply a collection of the basic programs and other important tools. So it's actually nothing, just a collective name for the basic programs, which without them we will not be able to write and execute our programs. So the three basic tool sets in C++ are the compiler, the linker, and the achiever. Okay, so the compiler, in order to compile a C++ program, we use a compiler. So the compiler sequentially goes through each source code in your program, and that's two important tasks. Okay, so the first task it does is that it checks that your code is following the rules of the program. All right, so each programming language has their own set of rules governing the execution of the program. So let's say if you take Java, their syntax, that's what we call the syntax. So the syntax is how the rules the program should follow. You cannot use the syntax in Java or C for C++, it will never work. Okay, so the compiler first check that the program you have written, your source code, is following the C++ rules, and then produce object files which contain a mixture of executable code and symbolic references to functions and data. Okay, so it translates the source code into machine code. All right, because the source code is the human readable code which we are seeing on the screen right now. You could see compiler COMP, but the computer doesn't know C, doesn't know O. If you are a bit into IT, you know that the computer only understands zeros and ones, that's the binary. So the compiler translates, after checking that the syntax is in the right path, it translates the source code, that's the human readable code, into a machine code which alone the computer understands. Okay, so we move to the linker. After the compiler creates one or more object files, the linker comes in. So the job of the linker is it takes all the objects files generated by the compiler and combine them into a single executable program. Okay, so the linker is a program that connects a compiled program to a particular environment. So the compiler gives it takes the source code as input and then gives object files as output, and then those object files it will give as output, the linker also takes them as input and then combine them into a single executable file. And then it also links the library files. Okay, so when we talk of library files, although we get much deeper into them in the next videos, when we talk of library files, it's a collection of pre-compiled code that has been packaged for reuse in our programs. So they are made with the program already, they are made with the C++ already. Okay, and also it allows for cross dependency, which means, for instance, if I make a program and name it aaron.cpp, I define something in it, and I go to a different program, for instance youtube.cpp, the link, and use the same thing inside, the same thing I defined, the linker connects the two together. So if the linker is unable to connect a reference to something, if the linker is unable to connect the two, it will give you a linker error. Okay, so we are able to connect for cross file dependency. Also, the archiver also takes a collection of object files as input and produces a static library or archive, which is simply a collection of object files built for convenient use. So this is how the process goes. So you write your source code in your IDE or wherever, then your CPU pre-processes, then it gets compiled. So after compiled, the compiler gives out an output over here as the object files, okay, to the linker. So then the linker will also execute it. So we have the source code, compile, linker, executable, and we may also have the library functions over here, which is also linked to the linker, as we said earlier. Okay, so other important things is executable. So when we talk of an executable, is any program that can be executed by the operating system, any program at all, any program you've written which can be executed by the operating system. We have the dynamic library or the share library. It is more like the executable, just that the dynamic library cannot run on its own. It will need some third parties before it can run. Okay, so we didn't talk of IDE. So IDE, we will get into it, but probably IDE is just a collection of, or a package of all the needful environments that we will be needful for writing, for compiling, for executing. Okay, so in the late 90s, when programming started, the low-level programming, you write your source code with a different application, link it to a compiler which is also different before you can execute it with another application. So the IDE just combined all the things, all the processes into one platform. Okay, so this is what we have for today. In the next video, we are going to see how we can download some IDE or programs we will use to run our first C++ program. Alright, so as you know, if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe, share, leave a comment in the comment section, and hey, that is what keeps us going. Your comments keeps us going, so don't forget. If you have questions, if you have suggestions, they are warmly welcome. Okay, so see you in the next video. Bye bye.